Welcome to this scope of support session for Pivotal Spring Runtime and open source Spring projects. As you can see from the graphic here, we support Spring in a variety of different contexts. Customers can run their applications on Tanzu Application Service, in a container on Kubernetes, or even in VMs or on bare metal servers. Regardless of situation, we support it the same across all those different deployment scenarios. The scope of support for it is pretty straightforward, but we do have some caveats that we would like to call out. You can see here, installation. This is something that is a little more straightforward for other products. For Spring, this is really the usage of a dependency management tool like Gradle or Maven to pull in the Spring dependencies. If there's a clear issue with how our dependencies are being pulled in by that tool, that's something that we could help customers with. We could also help with the setup and basic usage of how to include our dependencies through these tools. But the tools themselves, Gradle, Maven, there's a lot you can do with them, and that is, outside the scope of the support for this particular product. Troubleshooting for performance issues is another one to call out. In this particular scenario, we only would cover troubleshooting of performance issues in Spring itself. So if it's something that's under the org.spring framework package, then it's something that we could help. But we don't troubleshoot customer applications or third-party libraries or other Java code. It would have to be something that's causing a performance issue in the Spring code itself. And we also do not support the troubleshooting, the performance testing of Spring itself. So if somebody is doing performance testing for the sake of performance testing, that would be outside the scope of support. We only support customers that are experiencing performance issues in actual applications that they're running and deploying, for business purposes. JVM Tuning is another one to call out, just like was mentioned in the session for Pivotal OpenJDK. There's only so much you can do with JVM Tuning. We're happy to help customers and take a look and see if there's some suggestions we can make, but it's not a perfect solution to make every problem go away. In many cases, customers need to look at the application itself and may possibly need to make code changes to improve performance situations or garbage collection to their satisfaction. Another one to call out are Spring Bean dependency problems. These are often, when you see this type of error, it's often an indication that something is going wrong with the application itself. These are usually something that you could work out, at development time. And so that really falls into the camp of being a customer issue. It's certainly something that we can look at, but, it's often, going to require that an application developer that's familiar with the application take a look and see why those dependencies issues are happening. For us, the scope of support that we would provide would be to help the customer by showing them how they can investigate this type of problem, not necessarily solving it for them, but just providing assistance on getting additional debug information out of Spring to kind of help the customer figure out, what is going on in their application. One particular Spring project to call out is Spring Cloud Dataflow. Unlike most of the Spring projects, this is actually a set of servers software that you can run. It's not libraries that you would pull into your own custom applications, and so we have a separate line item for that one. We do support installation, configuration, usage, all that standard stuff for Spring Cloud Dataflow. In order for customers to be supported on this, they would need to be using the installation instructions that are in the documentation for the open source Spring Cloud Dataflow project. If they're doing some other non-documented installation process, that would be outside the scope of support. the last thing to mention, best practices, guidance, architecture, design. Those are things that will come up occasionally from customers around Spring because they're looking for kind of some guidance on where they should go, the way their application is developed. That's really outside the scope of support. We don't have enough context on about their business needs and application and all that stuff to provide good general high-level guidance in this area. So this is something that's outside of the scope of support. And when customers are asking these types of questions, the best thing to do is to have them reach out to their platform architect. Platform architects can often help with that, or we could also, put them in touch with one of our services teams or someone from Pivotal Labs. That all of those groups are able to work with customers, more directly and have a better understanding, on their goals and business needs, and that helps them answer those questions more appropriately for the customers. And that's it. That covers the scope of support for Pivotal Spring Runtime and OSS Spring projects. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the SPM team or to one of the regional anchors. We can help clarify any questions that might come up. Thanks for joining this session.